Hello everybody, it is Teach It Tuesday. It is 4 o'clock on the dot. I'm running a little late. Let me get so I can see any comments that are coming. Let me refresh. I hope everybody's having a good Tuesday. Hope you guys were able to catch Tammy's this morning and watch her awesome color combination that she did today using the Changing Leaves bundle. Hey Tammy, how are you? So get these lights set up. All right, so we finally turned on the AC a couple hours ago and I'm still really warm. It's probably because I've got stuff cooking in the oven. So anyway, all right, let's go ahead and get started. We are doing Teach It Tuesday. We're doing a color combination. Tammy and I are doing today. Teach It Tuesday with Tammy and Jenny. Sorry, I've said that probably a half a dozen times. Doing a color combination, and our color combination is Berry Burst. Berry Burst, crushed curry, and I don't have the full version of Copper Clay, but I do have the Stampin' Spots, so that's what I'm using today. So, and Stampin' Copper Clay is one of our, hi Karen, welcome from Idaho. Where in Idaho are you at? Copper Clay is one of our 23, 25 in colors. So this is the last year we get to use them. So we're going to set those off to the side. We're also going to be using the Forever Forest bundle. It's a great bundle that I'm looking forward to showing. Let me go ahead and show you, set these off to the side, what card we're going to be making today. And here is our card. All right. Pocatello, Southeast Idaho. So that would be closer to like the Wyoming side, right? The only reason I ask is I have a group of friends that live up in Coeur d'Alene, and I have a couple of different friends who have kids who are going, and I just realized, I forgot to turn off mute my laptop. And I have a couple friends, one friend who just dropped her daughter off at Boise State for college. So, and I have another friend that I used to work with whose son is starting his sophomore year at Boise State. So, welcome, Karen. All right, let's go ahead and we get started. And this is my card. We're going to use Berry Burst as the card base. We're using Copper Clay for our other cardstock. We're also going to be using some DSP that you would never have thought, or at least I didn't until I was flipping through it and noticed the back, and all of a sudden inspiration happened. And our, it looks like it came off. Our crushed curry comes in the form of the ink and our embellishments. So let's go ahead and set this aside, and let's go ahead and show you, get all our pieces here. Our card space is going to be Berry Burst again. It is 8.5 by 5.5 with it's scored at 4 1/4, which is halfway through. We folded it over and we will burnish it and then set it aside for just a few minutes. And let me show you what we're going to use. We're going to use this side of our DSP, and the DSP is the Bright and Beautiful, and it came with a suite last year that was all birthday. And let me show you what you normally see with it. You usually see all these bright, fun birthday celebration kind of stars and swirls and circles and everything. A lot of fun. But on the back side, on the B side, is where I found inspiration, because you have a lot of these pieces that have the colors that are ombre. And it sort of reminds me of sunsets and backdrops. I love this one. And so we're going to use the Berry Burst one. And let me see if I can find, oh, that's this, no, that's the pink. Where's my berry burst? We're going to use a small piece of this one right here. Yeah, I forgot about it too, Tammy, and I'm sitting here with like a pack and a half of it, so I need to start using it. My daughter's asked me to make a baby card for a friend of hers who just had a baby, so I might be pulling out some of the pink polka dot. Matter of fact, yeah, I'm looking at the bubblegum pink on a side note. I'm thinking about using that for a... Nope, 4:30 next. Oh no, 4:30 is on Friday. Teach It Tuesday, or Teach It Tuesdays, right? 4 o'clock. But this Friday is my Fun Friday is going to be at 4:30 instead of 4. So anyway, here's our DSP. Sorry, I digressed. I went down a rabbit hole. But we're going to go ahead and I cut this one. This is cut at 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, and we're going to go ahead and set this aside. Because I need to leave it for something else. Then we're going to take our layers, and I counted each of these as a layer. We're going to use our copper clay to make our mountains, and let me show you the dies we'll be using. We'll be using this really cool die that gives us an embossed mountain scene. And this die set has so many different ways that you can use the trees. We're going to be using this die to cut out our stamped trees here, and then we're going to use this die and some foam adhesive sheets to create this. Oh, I'll bring this over a little bit more so you can see, to make this three-dimensional tree here. So we're going to use a few of these. Let me set that off to the side. We'll put these off to the side right now. And what we'll do is we're going to cut, and with the magic of camera, as I learned this magic from my friend Tammy. And this is what we're going to have cut. We're going to sort of offset these on the paper. But let me show you how I cut this with, to have the wider base for the bottom to cover up, because this is how it's going to look. And what I did is I measured out my piece of cardstock to be, I think it was 2, and this one is 2 3/4, 2 3/4 by 5 1/5. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did 5 1/2 just to give it. And then what I did is I went up higher and I put the top of the highest mountain peak just below the edge of the paper. Gotta love the magic TV. And then I just ran it through my die machine like this, and that is how we came up with this piece here. And so what I'm going to do is I went ahead and made these each a little bit longer than I wanted to. And I figured that way I can always cut off the pieces I don't need. And then we're going to sort of move that aside, or switch it a little bit, and then put this one here. Now, we're going to do more over, so I have more mountain on that side. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to attach this with a little bit of glue. And we know this part's going to go. And you know what? I need to find my... I do this every single time. I look for my silicone mat and I can never find it, my little silicone mat, until after I do my videos. So we're going to put it right about there. And what that silicone mat does is it allows that if I had any glue on this back piece, that it wouldn't adhere to the graph paper that I have. And we're going to go ahead and then I like how that looks. So we're going to go ahead and attach this. And I'm not going to put it all the way to the edge because I think it sticks over. We're going to put a little glue at the tops of those mountains. And we're gonna line that up with the top, with the side and the bottom of the DSP. And then we're gonna push down a little bit. And we're gonna let that dry real quick. All right, let's see if I make sure I haven't missed any comments. Nope, no comments missed so far. All right, now let's go ahead and stamp our, I got the sentiment stamp ready, but I forgot to get the tree stamp ready. So we'll go ahead and pull out our tree stamp and get a block. All right, there we go. We're gonna stamp that on a piece of paper, white paper that is, let's see, approximately 5.5 by 2.5 or 2 3/4. And that just, what that does is it gives you, you can go a lot smaller, as you can see, for that. Now, because I have my Stampin' Spot, my ink spot, I'm gonna go ahead and apply the ink this way. Otherwise, I would apply it by opening up and tapping down on the ink pad. So, all right, let's make sure we get enough ink on there. I think my copper clay ink is starting to dry up a little bit. So let's see. I need to start sewing. A tip, if you have these ink spots and you want to keep them from drying out, store them upside down, because that keeps the ink going towards the top of the pad. Whereas we don't have to do that with our pads here, because if you notice, when I open this up, the pad is on the top. So when it closes up and you store it like this, the ink is automatically flowing and saturating the top of the ink pad that we use. So ink spots, I suggest you store them upside down as such. So let's go ahead and do this. And since I talked a little bit, I'm gonna huff on it. That just sort of moistens the ink on the stamp. And there we go. We'll go ahead and set this off to the side, set the ink spot off to the side. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to die cut these out. Let's see, we've got to make sure I get them all in. There we go, without trying to get my head in the way. And I'm going to use this. This is a nice tip, a little post-it flag that I got from my friend Patty about how to hold this on. I've seen some people use washi tape, and I used to use washi tape. And most washi tapes are low tack, so you shouldn't have a problem. But for some reason, the washi tape I had, I don't think was quite low tack. And so therefore, it would still pull on the papers and stuff. And I didn't want it ripping paper. So we'll go ahead and I'm gonna use my little boho blue Stampin' Cut and Emboss. And we're gonna go ahead, hopefully it doesn't wiggle too much. And we're gonna go through here. There we go. And we'll set it aside. We're gonna use it again in just a minute. And there are our trees. So we'll set our trees aside. And this die we'll put up front or up top so it doesn't get ruined. And then we're going to die cut our three-dimensional tree here. So let's go ahead and do that. And this is another tip I got from Patty. Patty's full of so many wonderful tips. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, where did I put that die? Uh-oh. Let's see, oh, there it is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, because these dies can be, when you cut them out, they can be very fragile. Let me show you what one of them looks like before I use this. You can tell it's got a lot of little limbs, and it doesn't really give you any much dimension. And so to glue them might be difficult, and it would make it really sort of flat. And I like adding a little more dimension to my cards. So what I did is I cut a piece of copper clay cardstock that I knew the die would fit onto. And then I cut, the foam adhesive sheets. They're just like Stampin' Dimensionals, but they're solid sheets. and they come like this, solid sheets, and it's two-sided adhesive. And what I did is I cut a piece to fit right on the copper clay. So I'm going to take one piece off. I'm going to put it down, and then I'm going to turn it upside down. And I'm going to put my die right here on top of that. Now, the first time I did this, I went like I cut it on, yeah, it isn't a really fun tip, but I cut it like this because typically when you run a die through machine, you run it with the die on top. And I had issues with it not releasing from the die not releasing correctly. So what I did is I remember somebody saying, oh, you can use bubble wrap, you can do a couple other different tips, but I decided the first tip I was going to try is, let's do this, is I'm putting it so you can put the die face up. So you put the die down first. I want to make sure it's on there. Put the die down there first, and then you cut, so you're having it face upwards versus down there, and I can tell that that's not. Let's go ahead and attach this. Where is my Post-it? Put my Post-it tape on here. Let's see. Yep, that looks fine. Adhere it that way, but now I'm going to turn it up this way so that the die is facing up. And sometimes that helps with a little extra pressure. So let's go ahead and hopefully this one will work. All right. All right. I love this little machine. It'll go everywhere with me. All right, so let's go ahead and take this die off, and hopefully that tip worked out this time. It did. See, I'm able to pull. Let's see. It sort of worked. Yep, there it goes. You can pop it out this way. Oh, not 100%. I would have run that through a couple times. I'll show you what it looks like if it works correctly. It works out just right. It turns out like this. And so you end up having like a puffy sticker. But I'm going to use this one so that it does. I would have done this one. You know what? I could probably, I've already started pulling it apart, so that's not going to work. But what I would have done is I probably should have gone back over it, run it through once, and then run it through a second time, going forward and backwards. And then that would definitely make sure that it's cut all the way through. All right, let's go ahead and go back to the card base now that we've got all our dies cut. And I'm gonna now cut off these mountains that are on the DSP or the pattern paper so that we have that trimmed. And we're going to now apply, let's see, I think we did this first. I did my trees first. And that we're just going to go ahead and move them a little bit farther down. And I'm just going to use a multi-purpose glue. You could use any adhesive you want. The multi-purpose glue, what I like about it is it gives me a little wiggle room. So if I don't like exactly where it's placed, I can move it around a little bit for about a couple of seconds, as long as you don't push too hard. But that's about where I want it. I want the trees almost at the base of the die cut. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and take this, our big tree, and I'm going to put it right down here. All right, so now we've got some dimension on there. Make sure I'm not missing any comments. It doesn't look like it. And we're going to go ahead and stamp our moon and our stars. Our stars and moon. And I thought I had all my stamps set up, but apparently I didn't. All right, we're going to use our crushed curry for that. And I'm going to just do a couple light taps because I don't want it to be too dark. And then I want the moon facing this way. So we're going to go right about there. Yeah, it's a little dark, but that's okay. So we'll go this way and we'll put our crushed curry aside. And I'm going to now glue this to the front of our card. So let's go ahead and attach some Tombow multi-purpose glue. Now, I didn't give all of the dimensions because there's a lot of measurements on here. So what I suggest is you come back to my blog tomorrow and I will have all of the dimensions. And I'll even put in parentheses what color layer that was, what cardstock I used for that particular layer in the card video so that you can follow along. Now, I do have a small piece for our sentiment, and it is it's a 1/2 inch wide and about, let's see, 4.5 inches long. And I'm using, as you notice, the Forever Forest doesn't have any sentiments. So what I'm using is a sentiment from our country birdhouse. I'm going to be using the Happy Birthday sentiment. And I'm going to put that in Berry Burst. And, all right. I always have to close up my ink right away. Otherwise, I get my hands and everything in it. I'm going to sort of center that. There we go. Happy birthday. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut sort of an angle. And let's see, I want it to go from here to the corner. And then I want it to go in the same direction. So I'm going to cut from here to the corner as well. Now, what we're going to do, because we're going to put some of this over the tree that's popped up with the foam adhesive sheet, and because that's taller, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use our mini Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to put 3 or 4 of them along here. Let me get my Take-A-Pick tool, and we're going to put those along, and I want to make sure I put them on the right side. Yep, I'm going to put them on here. So I'm going to put one here. Probably do 3 or 4 of them just to make sure. All right. And then what I'll do is I'll use a little bit of glue. There we go. And we'll put a little bit of glue right here on the tree. And then we're going to take those off. Now I'm going to find these all over the house. I think I found one on my dog the other day. That's probably because he likes to camp out, although he isn't right now. I wonder where he went. He likes to camp out underneath my desk. So let's see. We'll make sure, hopefully this is straight. There we go. Perfect. Just the way we wanted it. All right, now we're going to use our crushed curry from the adhesive backed Dots for Days embellishments. And we're going to put a couple of embellishments on there, and then we're going to go ahead and embellish, or not embellish, but we're going to do the inside of our card. So I'm going to do a couple of small ones. I'll do one small one here, maybe do a small one up here, and I'm going to go with one of the larger ones down here. So there we go. There is our card, minus what we're going to do, our birthday card. And again, I just, it's funny, as I was telling Tammy, I was really struggling with this color combination. Even though we picked it out, I was struggling with what to do. And the first thing I went with was I saw the DSP and went, oh, that looks like the sky, an ombre, and as this, in a sky. And I decided, you know what, let me see if I can work with that. What can I do with it? Oh, I can use the Forever Forest. All right, let's go ahead, and there is a smaller tree stamp that we're going to do. And I think, I didn't decorate the inside of the other one, so I think I'm going to do this in, oh, I heard my daughter. She's going to come in just a moment through one of the doors. But I'm going to go ahead, and I think I'm going to do my crushed curry, but I'm going to stamp off so it's not super dark. So we'll stamp off once. Oop. Uh-oh. Yep. I didn't see that dimensional there. I'm glad I caught it before I stamped on my card. We'll stamp off on the other side where I know I didn't lay any dimensionals. So it looks like a sunset over the mountains. Oh yeah, you know what? It does. I love that. It's the color of a sunset over the mountains. Wow. All right. I love that, Karen. I love that. All right. I'm going to go ahead and stamp my tree here. And I stamped off so it's not as dark. And I like that. And we're going to go ahead and put it inside our card. And since you have the sentiment and happy birthday on that side, you can put something else inside, or this gives you plenty of room for writing any note you want to that special person that you're sending this birthday wish to. So we're going to go ahead and put that in there. And there is our card using Berry Burst, copper clay, and crushed curry. So anyway, I wanted to let you know. Oh, I don't know what I wanted to let you know. Oh, I don't know. It's one of those things. I tell you, it's been a long day, and it's gonna be a long evening. Oh, excited to say that starting tomorrow, the September to December mini catalog will be available to be purchased from. So if you've got any needs for Christmas and you don't have a demonstrator, I would love for you to head on over to my blog, stampinwithjen.com, with 2 N's, and Stampin' and 2 N's in Jen, and you can check out, there's a link to use to shop from, and you can see some of the other cards I've made. And also, oh, thanks, Ava. Also, just to let you know, when you're on our blog tomorrow, you will see a link also to Tammy. So if you missed Tammy's live today, you can find her live through a link on my blog tomorrow. I think that's it. I'm feeling a little scattered right now. Got a lot of things going on. But anyway, sorry. I just thank you for joining me today. Usually I'm not quite so scattered. I think it's the heat. We've had some nice cool days, and today's been a much warmer day than normal. And I'm ready for those cool days. I don't know about you guys. I'm ready for fall to hit. And this is one of the examples is how. Thank you, Tammy. I'm glad you like it and you think it's adorable. I might try making this with a couple other colors and seeing some of the other colors from our bright and beautiful DSP. I really would like to see, can you imagine, oh my gosh, can you imagine it with this color, this blue? I think that's Misty Moonlight or one of these greens. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to play with that a little bit later on today. So, all right, well, thank you so much for joining me. The blues, yes, well, Tammy, you know me and you, we both love our blues, don't we? Thank you for joining me today. And again, all the information will be on my blog tomorrow at stampinwithjen.com. And I just, again, thank you for joining me and have a great week. And we will see you next week on Teach It Tuesday with Tammy and Jenny. Have a great day. Bye-bye.